fucking nerds. Who wants a shot at the champ?
They bring the heat.
Francis Ngannou is the hardest puncher in the history of fighting.
They bring the knowledge.
If you think this fight is going 5 rounds, you are out of your mind.
They bring you the picks.
The dog is getting it done in this one.
We deliver every single week. We're bringing the heat, ladies and gentlemen.
The money line.
Don't miss it on the MMA Experts channel each week. What's happening, people? The money line is live. We're breaking down UFC 287. I am AJ, joined as always by my guy, Mike Finch. What's up, brother?
I'm good, bro. Got some interviews over there at Bellator 293 over the weekend, hanging out with Kat Zingano, Daniel, the American Predator, James with a nice knockout. Just posted a clip with Justin Gaethje responding to Conor McGregor. Put all that up on my channel, and just having fun running some Mike Finch show stuff. Talked to Big Ben Rothwell. I know you watched that interview you just told me.
W interview. I really enjoy it. Ben Rothwell's funny as fuck, bro. I like his vibe. I've always followed Big Ben, so it was cool to watch you talking to him. I'm like, I gotta fucking sit through this whole thing, bro. It was good. Good work on that one. That was a W.
He remembered me. He goes, "Hey, didn't you stop by my gym a couple years ago?" Here, I'm thinking, no way he remembers that, but yeah, he remembered my face. I went over there to spar years ago, and they don't touch spar over there at Rothwell MMA. They throw down just like you see Big Ben throw down.
Yeah, listen, bro, that's just how the game goes. It's fucking Big Ben savagery at that fucking gym. He's talking about he wants to make it bare knuckle and MMA now. He's going to call that gym, which is pretty dope, dude. He's fighting Josh Watson, which is a dope BKFC fight. I'm actually stoked for that card, as probably everybody that's a fight fan is.
Yeah, come on, man. Josh Watson coming off of that knockout over Greg Hardy, then steps in there with Big Ben Rothwell, he told me it was a 4-second debut. I mean, he's like, I don't know, am I missing something? He's like, count the seconds. What is this 19 seconds shit? I put him out in 4. That sounds about right. So good real test here for Big Ben finally without the gloves on. The card is stacked. The card is insane.
I'm stoked to break it down with BK bets. But let's talk a little bit about the off week for the UFC.
Yeah.
There were combat sports events. Bellator had their version of Francis Ngannou, the American Predator, Daniel James, get a win. I actually feel like he's a marquee talent that Bellator really, in my opinion, should get behind, pushing him into the title shot. Instead, though, they're going Linton Vassell for the belt. I can't really knock it because Vassell at this point seems to be better than ever. And I think it's a live threat to Ryan Bader. But Daniel James is right there. I feel like I'm hearing Francis Ngannou might be in talks with Bellator, which at this point, a fight that interests me is the American Predator versus the Predator. That would be a dope fight. Like if Francis Ngannou, Daniel James could happen, that would be really cool for me because you got two heavy hitting big motherfuckers throwing down. And I'd be curious who, keeps that namesake at the end. And for Francis, leaving the UFC, in my opinion, has become a massive fumble. Bellator right now is the only option he's got. That's the way to go because at least he can do some boxing too. At least there's some heavyweights. Problem with Bellator, Mike, you know it. I say it to you all the fucking time. The promotion is lackluster. They don't promote their events enough. You got great fighters with lackluster promoting. If they could just put the fucking pedal to the metal and promote the fuck out of these events, Francis Ngannou, he can make big things happen there.
Well, the Francis point is interesting because of all of the divisions that Bellator has super deep talent, I'm thinking about 185. I'm thinking about 205. When you get up to heavyweight, it's a little thinner, but Francis would be obviously an insane addition. And you think about Francis's position, dude, I think Chael Sonnen had a point. Like, why has Francis been on the shelf for so long? The only thing I can think of is that Francis likes to take time off. Remember how pissed Dana was when Francis won the belt and he was like, all right, hit me up in 6 months. They're like, what do you mean, bro? What, you got to defend this title? So maybe Francis is doing another vacation. I don't know. But from Chael's point of view, he's saying, hey, man, what hot girl doesn't get asked to the dance? It's like, what hot prospect, what hot free agent, doesn't get asked and signed to a promotion in a reasonable amount of time. So it's been a long time since he left the UFC. There's already a new guy with the belt, John Jones. And man, I would like to see Francis get something signed, whether it's BKFC, whether it's Bellator, whether it's PFL. I want to see Francis fight.
Yeah, that's the biggest concern right now, though, is the stock continues to plummet. If he has not fought by the time John Jones already, let's say, defends the belt against Stipe Miocic, people are going to forget about Francis a little bit. MMA fans, bro, we all got recency bias, every which one of us, and you can't really blame us. I look at the heavyweights and I say, okay, who's the baddest man on the planet? John Jones for me. He just destroyed Cyril Gane, and you look at, okay, Francis and him went to distance. It was a close fight. So for me, I think Francis has actually lost stock, just not fighting. Yeah, he hasn't lost a fight, but he hasn't fought, losing stock. So I think sign a fucking contract somewhere, make some things happen. I need to see it. I don't know what his plans are, but I think the John Jones fight might be the biggest fumble in MMA history now, because I thought maybe Francis was already like secured a Tyson Fury fight. Like I'm thinking, okay, he's leaving the UFC because he knows he has these deals. Those are just bullshit and hype. You know what I'm saying? It's just the Fury fight is not happening. Anthony Joshua and Fury are fighting, bro. That's what's next.
I mean, this worked out perfectly for Dana White. Dana White wanted to slide John Jones in. Ideally, John Jones mauls his way through Gane to get the title so that he could say, hey, look, Francis had a really competitive fight with him and John Jones ran him over. Sure enough, that happened. And it's like, you know, that this is the best case scenario. The chat going, Francis, who I've already forgotten about Francis.
Right.
Francis could get signed by KFC. All this. Francis is most definitely losing steam, and he needs to keep his name up there. And I do believe that if he doesn't sign something in the next couple months here, it's just going to get worse. I think the best thing he could do is do that boxing match with Tyson Fury. That would reach across sports. That would be promoted by ESPN and all the big players. And, you know, I think that's the best fight he could probably get right now, would be leaving the sport.
Yeah, that's it. Boxing's the way for him, man. It is what it is. I want to bring up something that blew my mind. So Endeavor, the UFC parent company, has now bought the WWE, and they are working on like merging the two to have a massive company. I have no idea what is in store for that. I don't know what the plan is with that. I can't even comprehend the mesh up. I think a lot of MMA fans by nature kind of shit on the WWE, but now, I mean, they're going to be on the same team. So we got to stop shitting on them now. Is it crossovers from UFC fighters to WWE? Is it the vice versa? These guys want to try their hand in MMA. I don't have no fucking clue. I don't know. They're going to mix MMA and pro wrestling. I don't know. I'm very curious as to why and what is coming. And I guess we'll find out in the next 12 months. But isn't that weird, bro?
Is it official? Is it real?
Official. Set. Stone. Endeavor has bought the WWE, merging with
I didn't
UFC
know it was like
to
that.
put them together. They're going to become like one big company. I don't know. I have no idea.
These were rumors, bro. I'm looking at like random ass MMA Instagram pages reporting this. This is legit, huh?
This is legit now. This is legit now.
All right. Well, with that announcement you just gave me there, I would think that they would try to keep them kind of separate, bro. I don't see how does this overlap with the UFC. It's a sport versus an entertainment business. I mean, I understand that the promotional aspects of the UFC were somewhat borrowed from the WWE model, you know, but beyond that, you know, you're talking about like stage theater and comparing it to like a professional sport. It's not the same thing at all.
Right.
To me.
It's like Globetrotters and NBA basketball. Right. It's the show. I don't know. I'm very curious to see. It's weird to me, but that's the way the fucking world is going now. Shit's going fucking bananas, bro. It's a crazy time. Crazy time to be a fucking fight fan, bro.
Yeah, interesting movements there. I mean, I do like that the UFC makes moves. I mean, the power slap thing, maybe not my favorite, but I do like that the UFC is constantly trying to grow, and WME, William Morris Endeavor, is constantly trying to grow. It's interesting. I mean, maybe there could be some positive things that come from it. I just have no idea what's going to look like. I'll be interested to sort of take a back seat. I'm glad it's not my problem. I'll be interested to take a back seat and see. I mean, you know, like I told you before, my friend Jeremy unsubscribed from the UFC's Instagram page because they keep posting slap stuff. So what is it going to be like WWE promos now? Like I hope not. I hope they kind of keep them separate. That would probably be better.
Yeah, I think I'd assume, but who the fuck really knows? I'm curious if they have plans of maybe these high level, wrestling talents that get signed to the WWE that have interest in maybe getting into mixed martial arts, like what is it, Gable Stevenson or Gable Stevens? Am I mixing the name up? Olympic
Gable
gold medalist wrestler. He just got signed, I believe, to WWE. He expressed, I want to do MMA. This would be an avenue where he could actually, kind of dabble in both. So that could be really cool. I think that could be a dope thing. But a lot of guys in the WWE are not going to be doing MMA. There's no point. Why would they fucking go in the cage and do the thing when they're making bank doing, like you said, painful theater, fucking daredevil theatrics, but ultimately, not fucking warfare.
Right. I mean, nobody's ever done it. Nobody's ever come from the WWE and had a successful MMA career. Don't tell me Brock Lesnar. He came from NCAA heavyweight wrestling. That is why he had a great mixed martial arts career, is because he was a college wrestling champion. Nobody's come over from the WWE like a CM Punk or something like that and done anything. Dave Bautista tried it, and I think he got, a lot of flack from the internet for some close fistfights with some very out of shape looking people. It's a tough sport. I mean, this is the hardest thing you could possibly do. That's what I said to Randy Field when I interviewed her last week. I was like, do you agree with me? Is this not the hardest thing you could possibly do? In mixed martial arts fights, the most vulnerable place you could be. I think the WWE people should keep doing WWE.
Yeah, but I think the real wrestlers, though, that are there, the real amateur wrestling background guys, that's what I'm fucking interested.
Are there a lot of them in WWE? I don't even watch.
You'd be surprised how many dudes got cauliflower.
Really?
I just look at highlights and I'm like, yo, because they had, I forget who posted. It was something about WrestleMania. And I clicked, and one of the guys that saw the year, I'm like, all right, so you got guys that are wrestlers that got into WWE. Okay. Don't tell me they can't fucking transition. I don't know. The concern would be USADA. You know what I'm saying? The testing is no joke in the UFC. The WWE is not bringing it to that extent. So
what are you saying? That. Are you saying that WWE wrestlers take steroids?
I'm saying that most likely 70% of them probably do. I would assume even just to maintain the fucking every week having to fucking jump around and do crazy shit, you got to take some type of things that USADA wouldn't allow that fucking like heal you and shit like that.
Right. Yeah. Yes, sure. I mean, certainly anabolic steroids help your recovery, and those guys are doing lots of shows, lots of crazy shit. And on top of weightlifting, they have to perform, so it really helps your recovery. So I could see why it would make some sense for them to take it. And I'm aware of some sad stories of performance enhancing drug abuse in that department as well. Again, AJ, not a huge fan, so not something that got me jumping for joy.
Yeah, no, listen, it's the WWE. My grandparents are hardcore fans, so I got some respect for the game. You know what I'm saying? But I don't watch myself. I'll be honest, the coolest thing to me is when I look at like the Big Show, or not Big Show, rather, fucking Andre the Giant highlights back in the day. That was pretty cool. I'm like, that was fucking wild. The old school camera, like it looked more authentic back then.
Hulk Hogan's pretty dope. Hulk Hogan. But I got it for watching Rocky, him picking Sylvester Stallone up in the air and spinning him around. That's my WWE.
That's a stolen. That Sylvester Stallone, in a sense, kind of knocked Rocky off of Chuck Wepner, who was a pro boxer that went, and had a war with Muhammad Ali on, as a nobody. And he actually boxed with Andre the Giant in the WWE, and they knocked that scene off. Yeah, a lot of Rocky was actually stolen from Chuck Wepner, bro. Yeah, that's serious, man. Spun off of his life. He's not Italian, and he's not the Italian stallion, but he was a journeyman boxer that gave Ali a tough fight.
Okay, got you. I had no idea about that. I always saw the comparison between Rocky Marciano and the Italian.
That's what a lot of people think, but no, it's Wepner, Chuck Wepner.
I gotta look it up. Bro.
Yeah.
West Coast said Stone Cold was the best. All right, Stone Cold Steve Austin with the beers that was pretty cool.
Shout out to everybody in the live chat. Sorry I can't bring you all up on screen, but I appreciate you all tuning in. Mike Finch and me just fucking ranting for the past.
They're talking 15. About Pyfer GM3. It's a good fight.
We're about to get into that fight. Listen, Mike, I think it's time that we get these picks started. People watching, run the likes up. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. One last thing I'm going to say about PFL is Thiago Santos lost and Marlon Moraes needs to probably call it. He's still explosive, but that's 6 losses in a row. So that was the PFL weekend. It was not a great night of fights, unfortunately, for PFL. A lot of lackluster matchups, and hopefully next week's better.
I mean, at least you guys had Kat Zingano and Liam McCourt going to fucking war. That was badass. That was a lot of fun. You had some pretty decent upsets too. John Salter came through and beat Aaron Jeffrey. That was kind of bizarre, right? Aaron Jeffrey wins over, Austin Vanderford. Who's the wrestler who beat up Maximov in the UFC? Big, strong guy. Submitted Maximov. Petrosky, thank you, Andre Petrosky. Yeah, beat Petrosky. So he's beating these big, strong wrestlers and then gets out wrestled by Salter.
John Salter's that guy. He retired after, though.
And Salter retired after. Another interview on my channel. And then, of course, the main event knockout. So you had some fist fights last week. Hope you guys won a little bit of money on those. Archie Colgan, like lock of the century. I mean, in big respect to Justin Montalvo, an acquaintance of mine for sure. One of his family members, is always all over Instagram hyping him up. And I see him in my comments and my DMs all the time. And, sad to see that. Him get knocked out, a good kid like that, but Archie Colgan's that was a lock of the year type thing, and that was an obvious one. And Archie Colgan got a nice knockout, man. He looks like a force to be fucking reckoned with.
That's Joey Davis lost in Bellator though, the real good wrestling prospect that was unbeaten. That was a big upset.
That's right. Yeah. If you hear his pre-fight interview, he was talking about how he had a rough camp. I'll have to check that. Yeah. But yeah, that was interesting because I heard his lack of confidence beforehand. So it was interesting. That's why you want to do your research on Fight Week too.
Yeah, fucking hell of research for Bellator, bro. I'm not even covering it right now. PFL is getting the love. Yes, Ali Point TV. I'll be doing PFL 2 predictions. Don't worry. Just stay tuned. Give me a fucking break. You know what I'm saying? I just covered the UFC. I just made all the graphics. We're doing money. Come on, my friend. Don't rush me. It's coming. You'll see it. You'll see it before fight day. I promise. It's coming. We got to get into these fights. I want to talk some UFC. It's a massive card this weekend. 287, bringing the fucking heat. Let's get into the first fight of the night. Jaqueline Amorim versus Sam Hughes. Mike Finch. Jaqueline Amorim is a prospect to watch. Yes, it's not the highest level of competition that she has beaten, but the performances to me are evident of somebody that could make a run and become a viable contender in the UFC at some point. I'm riding with her to get the win over Sam Page. I've always felt Sam Page is a tough out. She's not an easy fight, but this matchup here, I think Amorim has a fair amount of success, big grappling advantage. Not like it's easy to submit Sam Hughes, but I don't think it's impossible. I'm going to go that Amorim sub side, man. I think she's going to look nasty, 6-0, going to 7-0. This is the fight for her, bro. I'm actually stoked to see her go out there and perform against Sam Hughes. And she's not too young either. 6-0, but she's 27, which is a good age that I feel like, the women's divisions. I don't know. I feel like 27 can be money. I know Erin Blanchfield's a fucking anomaly, but for the most part, I like a little development, a little, grown woman strength. Amorim got it. I'm picking her to win, Mike Finch. What do you think?
I think this picture you got of Amorim looks like it's from MySpace, brother. What is this picture? What do we got going on here? This is
I was a friend with her on MySpace back in the day, bro. So I screenshot our old conversation. That's all I got, bro.
I think my MySpace is still up out there somewhere. If somebody wants to find it, it's good. The background's like Chuck Liddell with like the belt, and it's like my great. Top 10 is like all UFC fighters. It was like Chuck and like Rampage and like Dan Henderson. So
that's tremendous.
Yeah, shout out to the old MySpace page where I used to talk to Shane Burgos and MMA fanatics.
MySpace Mike Finch in the house, bro. He's still on MySpace, actually.
Not like I've been on for 10 years. But anyway, I got Amorim too, man. I think her on the ground, she's nasty. Her initiations to her takedowns her transitions are not the best, like closing distance and actually changing levels for the takedown. Those two aspects she could definitely get caught on. But against Sam Hughes, I think she'll strike with her fine. Sam Hughes, as you said, it's a tough out, but Sam Hughes was ending up underneath Pinheiro. What's her name? Luana Pinheiro. She's fighting later tonight. Mm-hmm. She was ending up underneath her, and if you're underneath Luana, I really think you'll be underneath this jiu-jitsu black belt across from her, man. ATT. I mean, there's a lot of positives in her corner, so I think she'll move to 7-0, man. Give her like a third round submission.
I like it, Mike. Let's go. We're on the same side. I like the armbar call. I'm glad we're agreeing with the first fight of the night, Amorim to get the win. As far as betting lines, it is wide towards Amorim, but playable if you attack the line soon. Minus 235 for her, plus 200 for Sam Hughes. If you're thinking submission, which both Mike Finch and I are leaning that submission side, the line for Amorim to win by sub is plus 125. Not a great line, but it's plus money.
Pick'em says Sam looks like a retired meth head. That is brutal. That is a really brutal comment.
That's mean. Come on, Sam's a nice woman, bro.
It's just the picture. It's just AJ fucking him over with these pictures.
Listen, this is ESPN, bro. The ESPN did Sam Hughes' pick, all right? So blame them, not me.
And then Lush is 100% correct. AJ, you know Mike's going to get you about these pictures.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We on his ass.
I appreciate it, bro. Lula Morocco, I want to bring what he says up. He's a savage. AJ, no words, with a $21 billion company, a power player now with $1 billion in fan base now. UFC will call the shots now, and hopefully the judging corrected. Money talks. Interesting. So you're saying because the UFC now has more money behind it, they're going to fucking fix some things with the commission. I mean, I'd like to see that because I think the commission is fucked right now because some of these fucking referees are just incompetent. Some of these judges got no eyes. So, yeah, I'm all in for the UFC getting a little more control over, what happens as far as, judging aspects and refereeing assignments.
Why? Why would the UFC get more control over the athletic commission based on their
maybe the money coming in now? They can, buy a little more power, baby.
Buy more power. What are they going to do? Donate to political campaigns? I don't know how you fix the judging. You'd have to come up with the strategy too, because I believe Big John McCarthy's been working on that his whole career. They did adjust it, by the way. A couple of years ago, they started actually favoring damage. They put it into the rules. Like back when I fought, damage was not actually a part of the scoring criteria. Right. Now it is. Which maybe could have been like one of those things like, we're trying to get this thing legal in all 50 states. Better not put damage on there. That sounds brutal. Yeah. And now that they are, I think they're kind of getting more loose with it, Nowadays, they're bare knuckle fist fights going down. So,
we're not in the fucking the old
new era.
Yeah.
I just don't know how you fix the judging by having more money. I don't see the through line.
I have just in general how we fix judging is I think if you are judging UFC fights, there needs to be viable experience on paper. And also, if you are a judge who gets a red flag, let's say there's a highly controversial scorecard, you get a red flag. And if you're a judge that have several red flags to your name in a short period of time, I think that judge is not one that deserves to be in the UFC level. Put them maybe in an amateur, get them more practice. They're not ready for what's coming at the UFC level. Referee making bad calls, red flag them. I think there needs to be kind of a tracking system of judges. If there's mistakes, there needs to be like red flag. We need to be taking notes. There needs to be a database of, that was a terrible scorecard by this judge, and everybody agrees. Media outlets, as far as even other commission officials, agree. So I think in that would be doing their due diligence. I don't think the commission puts enough emphasis on actually keeping these judges and referees accountable. Less issues with referees though, mainly towards bad judging, which definitely exists, man.
Well, I've been there at Bellator events. Specifically, I'm thinking of one. I believe it was Mohegan's Sun. And I've heard the athletic commission in the back sort of reviewing a decision after a controversial decision happened. And I believe this was the Danny Sabatello versus Rafael Stotts fight. I could be wrong about that, but it was definitely a controversial decision. And I certainly heard the commission sort of going off in the back, after the scorecards were read, and they were a little all over the place. So I have heard of verbal repercussions, but actual flag system, I've never heard that before. That's a good idea.
They need to flag system. I'm all in for a flag system. I want accountability, and I think that it lacks. He judges like Sal D'Amato, known as a notoriously iffy judge. Can you tell me how many bad decisions? Can we easily find it? No. But if there was, he has 17 red flags in the past 24 months, we're not going to have him judging the UFC title fight. And if they want to fucking have him judge a prelim fight, that's on them. But I think like the highest stakes fights need the best quality. I want the judges that are always known for quality. And granted, mistakes happen. If you have 3 red flags, no issues. But if you got fucking 20 of them, I'm like, this guy doesn't seem great at his job.
Interesting. I like that idea. There are a lot of people who are going to say that the judges are paid off and whatnot. I think you got to believe in things based on evidence. I think incompetence is pretty substantial as well. I mean, how many times does a controversial decision happen and 20% of the fans are over here and 80% are over here? Same thing with judges. They're just humans too. And so I think I think the actual training and development could be potentially improved as well. So interesting stuff, AJ. I like it. I like your flag system. I do.
Yeah, thank you, my man. Let's keep running up the card. If not, we'll talk judging for the next hour and a half. It is between Steve Garcia and Shailan Nuerdanbieke. I am picking Shailan Nuerdanbieke. I do think Steve Garcia, mean machine, is a mean striker. But when you get into the grappling, I see wrestling advantage for Shailan, strength advantage Shailan, and overall power edge on the feet for Shailan Nuerdanbieke. I think he's going to find takedowns, and I do think even though he hits hard, Steve Garcia, Mahashate knocked him out in one shot. Stylistic difference in the matchups. Steve Garcia is not a chinny fighter. I don't think he goes out there and gets starched. I think it's a hard-fought decision win by Nuerdanbieke. I'm going to say he gets it on the cards, unanimous decision. What do you think, Finch, man?
I think Nuerdanbieke could finish him. Look, Steve Garcia likes to bang, and when you go bang with Nuerdanbieke, that's where you roll the dice of getting slept yourself, man. I do think the type of fight he's going to bring to Nuerdanbieke will, one, get him taken down, and then two, put him at risk to be knocked out. And even if it doesn't happen on the feet, I could see Nuerdanbieke landing some ground and pound. So yeah, give me like a TKO finish. Again, even if it's through wrestling, I do think he could get to a mount, get to a knee on belly, drop some big shots, potentially get the ref to step in. So yeah, I'm with you on Nuerdanbieke, but give me a finish, brother.
I respect you on that side, but I'm glad that we're on the same side on Nuerdanbieke because I do think he's a very good pick. As far as the odds, he's sitting at around minus 200. Steve Garcia plus 175 as a dog. Knockout side for Nuerdanbieke's plus 185, Mike Finch. The decision side for Nuerdanbieke plus 330. For this specific matchup here, I am much more of a money line fan as opposed to playing. Actually, the line just shifted to minus 190 for Nuerdanbieke. That's even better. I like money line for this fight. I do think Nuerdanbieke decision win is live. I think knockout could definitely happen. Money line it. Good play. I think something we can maybe add to the parlays, which we'll discuss at the end. You feeling pretty good about this pick, dude?
I think so. I think this is one of the more confident ones of the card, man. Steve Garcia, Garcia wins if he just lets his hands go and catches one, but that could also be, spell doom for him. Every time you let your hands go, you got to plant your feet. Could get him taken down here, dude. Agreed. I see him on his ass in this fight, and Nuerdanbieke with the hand raised at the end of it. Let's keep running up the card. Next fight, it's Trey Ogden, Ignacio Bahamondes. Mike, you remember when I was going after you with Trey Ogden as a dog pick. I'm not picking Trey Ogden in this fight. I think Ignacio Bahamondes beats him. Two reasons that are very strong for me. Number one, he just recently made weight for a fight at 155. Now he has to make weight again. Granted, they're giving him 5 extra pounds. It's 160, but he was coming in at 56 anyway. So 4 extra, still a weight cut nonetheless. And you have to then watch your weight after you made weight for a certain amount of time. Like what? It was 2 weeks ago he was supposed to fight and now doesn't get the fight to fight Ignacio Bahamondes, who in my opinion, better than Manuel Torres. I was picking it Trey Ogden over Manuel because I haven't seen any proof of pace from Manuel Torres, whereas Ignacio Bahamondes has good cardio, nasty finisher that goes hard in that third round. I like Ignacio to win by TKO late, actually. I think he's real live for a knockout in the third round. I think that's his game. He's dangerous throughout all three, but specifically the third round. Could it go long? Sure. Bahamondes getting the hand raised, man. I think he's going to look pretty good here. I feel nice about the prospect, man. What do you think, Mike Finch? Dude, Bahamondes is a big problem. Bahamondes sparred with my old coach, Pat Curran. And I asked Pat, I was like, hey, man, you've been to Valley Flow. You've been to these different gyms. Tell me who's the next guy coming up. And he told me this Bahamondes kid is going to be champ one day. He was very impressed at the striking from range. And that's kind of where Ogden likes to strike, is like at that distance. And I think he'll be getting clipped up. He's not going to be able to do his usual thing. Bahamondes, 6'3"? I mean, it's going to be very hard to close that distance. Give me Bahamondes, maybe knockout.
I'm going knockout, bro. We're going knockout. 6'3". Like, that's freakishly tall at 155. And add in the fact this dude's 25, 13-4. He's a fucking problem. I'm actually really excited about Bahamondes because the style that he brings sells so well. If he can get some more momentum, a third straight win, beating a guy in Trey Ogden, who's like one of those legit vets, not contender, but a tough vet. I don't even want to call Trey Ogden a journeyman, just a guy that's difficult to fight. He's, towards the middle ground of lightweight. This is a good matchup for Bahamondes. I think I'm going to say knockout, bro. We're riding that side. As far as the odds, I will say the bookies are looking at it thinking this is a wide matchup. Minus 330 for Ignacio Bahamondes, plus 280, the Trey Ogden side. If you're feeling knockout, you're getting plus 200 for Bahamondes. I prefer Moneyline. I prefer parlay piece Bahamondes, but I really see victory here. He's a confident pick for me. I'm feeling very good about him getting it done, man. Especially now also hearing from Pat Karan. He says he's the next up, which is also just great news to hear.
And Pat Curran's so defensively sound. So for Bahamondes to get to him, I mean, the timing, the shot choice, he's got his legs, he's got his hands. He's not a guy who you could really predict. You don't know when he's going to spin. You don't know when he's going to. So his arsenal is actually pretty deep, man. He's getting better too, young, the physicality difference he has with these other light fighters is great. He's just taller than everybody he fights, and he uses those weapons well. As far as the bet goes, guys, Moneyline. Moneyline's the best way to go.
Moneyline, baby. Moneyline. Name of the show, name of the game. Let's keep running up. Next fight on the card. It is Cynthia Calvillo versus Lupita Godinez. Mike, I remember when we were talking about Lupita as like the next prospect on the come up. The hype has kind of, gotten a little bit cooled off after the Angela Hill fight. But here's my big concern with Cynthia Calvillo. The pick is Godinez here. Calvillo decides, I want to be a 125er, goes up in weight, has very minimal success, 1-4, I believe, at that weight class with a 4-fight losing streak. And now you want to drop down to 115 to fight a young prospect on the come up who's very kind of similar in style to Calvillo, but maybe like an upgraded version because, the youth, the time that she came into the sport. I think at 35, the weight cut, the extra 10 pounds off, might not even be possible for her to make weight, let alone win the fight.
Wouldn't be the first
for the
time.
win. Godinez, man. I'm riding with her.
Yeah, Lupi's good, man. Hopefully Lupi can mix it up in this fight. That was a pretty damn disappointing performance against Angela Overkill Hill, who, by the way, I was at the bar with on Friday night.
Shit.
I said, what's up to Angela Hill?
I
gave her a little shout from Moneyline. I said I've been a fan and that she's dope. She's very cool.
That's dope, bro. You got a picture with her?
Did I get it? Should I be like, hey, can I get it?
You should like, say we got to face off, bro. You just face like
get her out of her bar stool. All right, we got to.
She would have loved it, bro.
In front of this whole bar right now. Me and a woman face to face.
Well, they won't realize that woman's a straight killer. You know what I'm saying?
AJ's trying to get me in trouble, bro. Come on, man.
Angie would love it, bro. Angie's
I'm not squaring off with no ladies. No,
with me and Angie can have a friendly face. I like Angie, bro. She's good shit.
I got a picture of me squaring off with my Nana, who's 90 years old, and we're square. That's the only face off I got with a lady. That was a good one. Angela Overkill Hill was cool. She looked really good against Lupi. I just think it was more of an off night than rewriting who Lupi is. I do think Lupi should be able to dominate a Calvillo. And if Calvillo does miss weight, I mean, even more to it. If you look at the records of fighters who miss weight, they generally lose. They generally lose when they miss weight. It's usually a problem. It's usually like, they are injured. Something's going on. They didn't train right. Something's going on. So give me Lupi. Give me decision.
Lupi decision. I'm with you on the decision side. Same one. Lupi getting it done. It's minus 240 for Lupi Godinez. And then for the Calvillo side, plus 250. As far as the lines go here, Calvillo to win decision. Calvillo to win decision. What am I saying? Godinez to win by decision, minus 110. I do think she wins the decision. I also think over 2.5 at minus 280 is very live. That's what I'm thinking about this fight here.
Agreed. Yeah, I would just go money line. I mean, the over 2.5 is interesting.
Yeah, but if Calvillo's really shot, though, I mean, Lupi could strangle her.
But has Calvillo been getting finished? Let me pull this up, bro. Let me pull up the
Mike
tape,
Finch,
bro.
Getting called out for fake news, bro. West Coast says fake news that people that miss most likely win. He said people that miss most likely lose, brother. He said the opposite.
Yeah. No, exact
like
opposite. West Coast, listen to what the fuck I'm saying, West Coast. What the fuck? About to go into a Joey Diaz rant. What the fuck, cocksuckers? Listen, it's Joey Coco Diaz. Look, man, I think Lupita will win regardless of whether or not she makes weight. How about that?
Let's go.
And Nina Nunes split decision. Yeah, she has lost via finish,
but Nina Nunes is also past her prime at this point, and hadn't fought in a while.
My thing is, Lupi's kind of a decision machine too.
She's gonna get it done. Decision.
We got to go decision, dog.
Decision. Let's keep running up the card. Next fight: Karl Williams versus Chase Sherman, the #1 contender fight in the heavyweight division. Just kidding. This is a back end heavyweight fight. You know what I'm saying? Listen, Karl Williams though is a prospect on the come up, man. There's no disrespect to him. Chase Sherman, we've kind of seen the ceiling on what he brings to the table. Karl Williams has the back pocket wrestling card he can pull out whenever the fuck he wants. Chase Sherman, even though he was the BKFC champion, he was a champion early in the BKFC days. I don't think necessarily, I don't know, him and Alan Belcher, who the fuck knows, but it would be difficult to replicate that success now. Karl Williams can box a little bit too. He's a long, athletic guy, former light heavyweight. He's got a speed advantage, and Sherman is like, a fairly quick heavyweight per se. I'm going Karl Williams for the win. How does he get it done? So I actually feel as though Karl Williams is going to pepper the shit out of Sherman on the floor, and there is a chance that Chase Sherman is submitted. I'm going to go Karl Williams by sub, which is a ballsy call, but I'm going to call it, man. I'm going for it.
I mean, again, Karl Williams is one of these guys who he likes to see what the judges have to think. He does. He doesn't finish too many fights. I see what you're saying, though. I mean, Chase Sherman, Division I All-American Wrestling Champion. Chase Sherman, the best wrestler we've ever seen.
That's what I thought.
No, not exactly. So there's a big old gaping hole for Williams to drive his pickup truck through. I just feel like it's a very obvious, very obvious game plan, and that is to change levels to get to the top position and to throw some ground and pound and score these rounds. Williams money line all day. Will he finish him or not? I mean, generally he does not finish fights. Generally Williams goes and sees the judges. So we'll say decision, but Sherman off of his back, not the best.
Karl Williams, I guess I'm a moron, though, because Karl Williams has 0 wins by sub, so this will be his first, if my call is correct.
You're not a moron because of the way that Sherman... He doesn't have any matchups where Sherman's on his back, Right, it'd be like flipping over a tortoise on the highway. I mean, who knows whether the tortoise can get back to its forest. Am I being mean to Sherman?
A little bit. You're picking on
Sherman because he's a tough guy. BKFC before, right?
BKFC champ at one point.
Yeah, that's right. So I've seen him fight in BKFC. So, I mean... they don't make him tougher than that. And he certainly has a puncher's chance, the classic puncher's chance. But Williams is the better fighter. He'll win the decision. Yeah,
Williams for the win. As far as the money line odds, they're wide, bro. -410 is the best value I'm seeing for Karl Williams. +385 on the Sherman side. Wow, it's like they got Francis Ngannou versus fucking Chase Sherman. Holy shit, that's too wide. Now, my maybe delusional call of Williams by sub +425. Listen, I'm not saying he's a submission artist, but I could see a scenario where he's ripping some ground and pound, Chase Sherman's turtling up, and then fucking rear naked choke is there. It's not like Karl Williams doesn't know how to get a submission. It's just it doesn't come easy for him in the cage normally.
I agree with you. I don't think that you're actually crazy for saying Williams submission. Like a Kimura.
I'm thinking fucking maybe rear naked, bro. He gets rear on naked. Sherman. I feel like Sherman could be on his like stomach a bit. Like, I don't know. I feel like with the Jake Collier fight kind of thing. And then, but I mean, Williams might just go pound them out. I don't know. The submission prop is there. I'm not actually saying for sure if I'm betting him. And that might just be a mistake of method of victory. But I think Karl Williams, what I'm saying is I think he's going to go hunting for a finish because he realizes this is a big opportunity, big card. You get to showcase yourself. This is the card to get a finish on. Nobody cares about your decision that, it was on the Apex. They want to see your fucking finish on this fight. So that's my thoughts.
John Jones cellmate. Hi, Mr. Finch. If Adesanya gets put out cold on Saturday, who would you favor in a hypothetical matchup between Leon Edwards versus Israel Adesanya? Okay, wait. So if he gets put out cold, you think that the next fight would be with Leon? Leon would move up to 85? That's a bizarre one, man. You got to go with Israel Adesanya being what, 6'3", 6'4"?
6'4", 6'3", 80 fucking something inch.
Better striker.
Yeah.
He's just a bigger, better version of a Leon Edwards. My humble opinion.
Well, a different style. I don't want to say bigger, better, because I feel like I don't want to take. We don't want to take it away from Leon. I think Leon is actually more efficient with his grappling. I'll say that. But the size matchup, I don't think Israel Adesanya would have success, or I don't think Leon would have success trying to grapple a guy as big as Adesanya.
What aspect of his grappling is more efficient than Adesanya?
I think the clinch take, like he was able to get on top of Kamaru. I think his takedown, takedown defense a little better. I would say it's not like Izzy's easy to take down either. I don't know. I just think I think Leon on the grappling wise is better, but I think the fucking Adesanya range, like if they fought, it would be easy Adesanya all day, minus 500 favorite. I don't know if Mike Finch is frozen or if he's staring at me like I'm crazy. I got no fucking idea. I think he's staring at me like I'm nuts. Mike Finch, come on, man. He's froze. That froze Mike Finch. Mike Finch got nothing to say right now. He's frozen Finch in the house. That's fucking funny, man. All right. Well, we're waiting for Finch to come back. I'll be answering the fucking chat a little bit. Welterweights over middleweight skill wise. Yeah, I do think that you have a point with that. Definitely. I just think that Israel Adesanya specifically versus Leon would be too much. I don't think that would favor. I don't think it would favor him. Oh, we lost Mike Finch. He'll be back soon enough. He froze in the Matrix. He's frozen, bro. Now we just got Q&A for a couple minutes. Nothing bad about that. We'll Q&A it up for a couple minutes out here. I thought he was trolling me. I thought he was fucking around. He's back, though. Mike Finch is back. Let me add him back in here.
Frozen like Elsa. I like that.
Oh, tremendous. Yeah. I thought you were frozen at what I was saying. I was like, wow, Mike's really fucking taking a moment here. Holy shit.
I was shocked. Oh, my God. What up, y'all? You can't get rid of me that easy, motherfuckers. I'm back, bitches. I'm back. Let's go.
Finch, man. So this fight, we're going Williams, and that's it. We're going to go jump to the next fight. Let's get to the fucking next one, all right? Gerald Meerschaert versus Joe Pyfer going down.
Okay. GM3, baby.
GM3 is the pick for me, my man. Reason being is this is a guy who's got great comeback ability, super tricky on the floor, awkward but dangerous stand-up. Joe Pyfer has beaten nobody good yet either, and he has a submission loss to Jovan Pati, who in my opinion is not super high level. Gerald Meerschaert can definitely sub you if you haven't losses to that type of guy. Granted, different stylistic matchup some years ago, whatever. I still see Meerschaert with an opportunity for sub, so I'm going dog attack. We're going with Meerschaert for the win. I'm going to call it submission. I'm not sold on Joe. I'm not sold on Joe just yet, Mike Finch. Are you sold on him, though?
Dude, I didn't want to be. So hang on. Can I run you through the story here? So I'm thinking GM3 for sure. First off, Gerald Meerschaert came on this show. All right. Great human being. All right. If I put up a story, one of the first people to watch, it's going to be Gerald Meerschaert. He keeps up with my stuff. I appreciate Gerald to death. I do. But when it comes to picking fights, we got to pick it like we see it. And so I did my research on Pyfer. I watched that Eric Anders grappling match. Seeing him ragdoll Eric Anders like that, just take him down with body locks, trips. I mean, just absolutely dominating Eric Anders like that was cool to see. And we know he's got power on the feet. So when I think about the matchup with Gerald Meerschaert, I think chances are Pyfer is going to be a little too much with the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu, and then also, on the feet, he's got the power. Well, I like Gerald Meerschaert against these specialists. I like Gerald Meerschaert against a grappler who can't quite strike with him. I like Gerald Meerschaert against a striker who can't quite grapple with him, Bruno Silva. In this one, and by the way, you guys know, 3-1 dog. We called it here on Moneyline. Gerald Meerschaert getting the submission against Bruno Silva. And on this one, I'm going to have to go with Joe Pyfer. Love you, GM3. All the best. Much love from Moneyline. We're rooting for you. But as far as like me telling you guys where to put your money, which I never do, by the way, I'm just telling you what I think. I think it's going to be Joe Pyfer.
I'm calling Meerschaert right now, bro.
Good, bro. Good.
I'm glad that you're not picking just because you're friendly with Meerschaert. I'm glad you're on that side.
Pyfer, dangerous, more power than Meerschaert, right?
You're right.
I think the wrestling might be better.
Fair.
And the jiu-jitsu should be good enough.
All right. I respect the Joe Pyfer side. I'm just not sold yet, but Joe Pyfer's a prospect. He's supposed to win this fight. I mean, he's a good size favorite. Pyfer right now is sitting at, if I can find the line here.
Yeah, live betting Gerald Meerschaert would be interesting, right? I see some of you guys in the chat. Pick 'em MMA. If GM3 can survive the first round, I'm taking his money line. Not a crazy idea, right? Joe Pyfer will be the most dangerous early on with those hands.
Money line, Joe Pyfer -180, Meerschaert +165. Interesting fight. Meerschaert by sub is +375. Pyfer. Are you picking Pyfer by KO?
Fuck. Gerald's going to be so mad at me. Yeah.
Pyfer by KO +150.
Yeah. I would, you guys know me. Money line it. Gerald Meerschaert with 50 fights. 50 pro fights. And hasn't been, obviously, the Khamzat Chimaev knockout. But besides that, man, it's a long time since somebody knocked out my man Gerald. Thiago Santos in 2017. Yeah, Gerald Meerschaert's going to be tough to put out, but Joe Pyfer, just the timing, man.
Yeah. Mike Finch froze? Is Mike Finch just trying to emphasize, or is he freezing up on me, man? Holy shit. We got to call Mike Finch's Wi-Fi, bro. Say, listen, Finch, man, what's going on with the Wi-Fi, guys? We got to ask him in chat. I got to answer the chat for a second. Mike will be back in a moment. Grappler and Skill Rest. He's back. Thank God he's back. All right, he's back. Mike Finch, we got to call your Wi-Fi company.
Bro, you know what I did? I needed to can you guys see this?
Yeah.
I hardwired it. So now we're actually good. I'm like not on the Wi-Fi. So now we're good.
Good man.
Right.
Yeah, bro. I respect you on the Pyfer side, but I think that you might be surprised by your boy Meerschaert, and you know what I'm saying? He'll be fucking making my pockets a little bit heavier.
Bro, that's a great dog pick. You know, I don't know if how many dogs I have on this card. Definitely not many. That's a great dog pick. I mean, I'm rooting for him, bro. You know I'm going to be rooting for my man GM3. Come on, Gerald.
Let's go. Mike Finch rooting for GM3. So he's essentially saying, listen, he's not betting on Pyfer, but he is picking the side. Yes? Yeah. All right, I'm betting on the Meerschaert side. Let's go, champ. Let's fucking go. All right, let's keep running up, bro. Let's get to this next fight.
All right.
Michelle Waterson-Gomez versus Luana Pinheiro, who we talked about. Pinheiro, you brought her up a little bit earlier. I got to pick this one in the way of like the changing of the guard now. Luana Pinheiro is the girl on the come up. She's a lot younger. She seems to have the good judo background, the stand-up game. Michelle Waterson's always been tricky, but never towards the highest of highs in the weight class. Always close to title shot, but never got there. Pinheiro should win. Now, granted, it's not like Michelle Waterson's losing to scrubs. I mean, her last fight was against Amanda Lemos, and she lost that fight. I'm going to pick Pinheiro, but I'm not going to bet Pinheiro. But I do think she can get a win here. And like I said, like a passing of the guard now. Michelle Waterson not in, her prime anymore. But it's women's MMA. So, Mike Finch, what are your thoughts, man? You going dog-sided in women's MMA?
Michelle Waterson's been on a real skid, man, and you gotta respect where the person's at in their career. Pinheiro can blitz, which I think is very important against a karate fighter like a Michelle Waterson. Pinheiro will throw multiple punches. She stormed down Sam Hughes and was able to take her down with like a headlock, which might be a great way to get on top of a Michelle Waterson too. I didn't love how Pinheiro found her way out of that Randa Marcos fight. If you remember,
shit. Yeah.
What's that?
That was shit. I agree.
She kind of put herself up for the Oscar for best supporting actress, maybe with the best supporting actor of Funk Master, Aljamain Sterling. They both went up there to try to get the award. I don't know who got it. Maybe because it got him a title. Aljamain Sterling's the better actor. What do you think?
I think Aljamain Sterling's the best. Come on, bro. He got the belt around his waist because of it. And he's still champ. So
right.
Imagine he would have not fucking taken that way out, bro. Best decision of his life. In my opinion, Anthony Smith fumbled. He should have did it against John Jones.
Oh man. Good point.
Come on, bro. Like, I get it. The legacy and all, and the being a tough guy, but god damn it, bro, millions of dollars on the line. Give me the fucking milli. You know what I'm saying?
So AJ gets hit with the illegal knee, and you go.
What level is the fight? What level is the fight? What level? Is it amateur? Fuck no. It's too. If it's like I'm world title and I
Right?
get the belt, I'm not doing great in the fight. Give me that fucking belt. Come get it in the rematch, boy. Come get it in the rematch. Maybe I'll retire after and fucking you'll never get it back. I'm the
You'll
best.
give us a fake cry and everything.
Yeah, dude. I would be like Josh Koscheck when he did it against fucking. I think who was it against? Was it against Paul Daly that he did the fake knee thing? I don't remember. Against somebody.
Yeah. Paul Daly. That's right. That's
throwback,
And
bro.
Paul
I gotta
Daly
shout
did
out
the
our
swing at
guy.
him after the final bell. Yeah.
That was sick, that fight, though. Hey, shout out to Ali MTV, Ali Point VTV. Izzy left Mike frozen like Elsa. Thank you,
It
my
was
brother.
Izzy's
Much love.
fault. Fuck
Yeah,
you for my bad Wi-Fi,
fucking
Izzy.
Izzy,
Son of
bro.
a
Izzy's
bitch.
just fucking with everybody. God, come on, Izzy. Cut the shit. So, Mike Finch, sorry, we're rambling. We going Pinheiro on this one? What are you thinking, brother?
I'm going to go Pinheiro. I do think
Respect.
she will be able to control where the fight takes place. I also do like her combination punching on the feet. Should be enough for the scores. Decision for Pinheiro and Sub-Zero. Mike Finch, you were interviewing Randy Fields during Bellator Media Day. Yes, I was. Interview on my channel. Thank you for asking.
Mike Fincher. All right, sorry, bro. I was gonna bring it up, but not in time. I have to answer this question though. Yo, AJ, what's the sites you always checking the odds? I go to Fight Odds. It gives you a wide range of odds from all different books, so you can see what the better lines are looking like. And I like to do it for the show just because a lot of people are on different sites. But let me jump into the odds for this fight. Luana Pinheiro, line for her is minus 155. Waterson plus 145.
It's actually close.
Yeah, it's not a crazy line. I don't really
like
care
that
about betting
Pinheiro
this
line.
fight though. I'm not into it. I'm not gonna bet on the girl who did the Aljo, the actor act, whatever the fuck. And I'm not gonna bet on a 37-year-old Waterson. To me, keeping my money in my pocket is my best investment on this fight right here. But I'll say something though. Probably going the distance, minus 300. Probably not playing it. So just something to shout out. I don't know, man. I don't really like the props either. What's Pinheiro by decision plus 130? Unless you really are like loving Pinheiro. Like to me, it's just she probably wins, but I don't want to do it.
Pinheiro's another one of those Andre Pedernera's prospects, man. I think she gets it done. What's that?
I'm betting her now.
You know what I'm saying? They're good at striking over there, bro. And you feel like one woman's on her way up, one woman's on the way down. The matchup makes sense. The odds aren't too wide. I think I like this pick more than AJ does.
Respect. Listen, bro, if you're on it betting side, it's not a terrible idea. We shall see. We shall see. After maybe the weigh-in, something might change inside him. Right now, no fucking money being thrown down on either one of these ladies.
Shout out to Anthony in the chat. I love that, Anthony, bro. Get you some motherfucking money. Because my guys were hitting me up too, and they were like, should we bet Randy Field? And
She's a savage.
I probably shouldn't say what I responded with. But anyway, I'm glad you guys are paying attention. Good shit.
She's a savage. She's a savage. Let's keep running up the card. Next fight on it, we got Kelvin Gastelum versus Chris Curtis. Isn't it interesting, Mike Finch? Kelvin Gastelum's been around since the dawn of time, essentially, with the middleweight division, it feels like. Holy shit. You look at him, not even fucking 32. He's a year older than you, bro. He's 31. He's a young man in this game with a ton of fights against the best guys in the world. Chris Curtis, older fighter than him with, obviously a fuckload of fights, but not like they were all in the UFC. How old's Chris Curtis? I got it up right here. Where were we at? Chris Curtis, where are you at? Chris Curtis is 35. Now, I'm not saying Chris Curtis is old. I'm not saying he's past his prime. Nothing like that at all. But when I look at this matchup here, I'm not feeling like Gastelum's career is over yet. He's having good fights with Jared Cannonier, with Rob Whittaker. I mean, the Jack Hermanson sub fight, the submission kind of sucked for him. But Chris Curtis was also dominated by Jack Hermanson in the striking in their fight. So both have lopsided losses to Jack Hermanson. I'm picking Kelvin Gastelum. Listen, Chris Curtis got 100% takedown defense rate in the UFC. I still think Gastelum could potentially take him down, but even if it's not a takedown, I think Gastelum would cage pressure just to halt the striking a bit. Also note this, southpaw Kelvin Gastelum, mean left hand. Chris Curtis fighting out of southpaw, so it's going to be interesting to see how they face off. I don't know, man. I feel like Gastelum's durability is so fucking crazy. Chris Curtis hits damn hard, but I think that Gastelum lands the better strikes, and I think he gets it done. I'm going to pick KG for the victory, baby. What do you think, Finch, man?
I think this is such a good fight, bro. When I saw this matchup, I was like, oh shit, this is like perfectly matched up. Kelvin Gastelum and Chris Curtis match up in such a way where they're going to go toe to toe. Chris Curtis likes being in that pocket too. He lives there. He's going to put pressure on Kelvin. For those of you guys who watch the show, you guys have know I've trained with Kelvin before. I've sparred with him, kickboxing, boxing. And so I've been able to eat those jabs, eat those leg kicks, eat that big left hand he's got. So I've seen what Kelvin looks like in there. And, I could imagine Chris Curtis being in a war with him, one of those fights where they're going back and forth. And if I imagine those two in a war, I'm wondering what Kelvin's going to look like with all these injuries, with these canceled fights, he's changed camps now. He's over at Henry Cejudo's. I don't even know what he looks like since he's gone over there. Versus Chris Curtis has been nothing but consistent. I mean, besides the loss to Jack Hermanson, he's been on a fucking roll, dude. He's looked really, really good. Joaquin Buckley just knocked out. Got that win over Rodolfo Vieira, Brendan Allen, Phil Hawes. I mean, he's been across the cage from a lot of savages in the past 2 years. And, in the past 2 years, all we've seen is Robert Whittaker dropping fights besides the Ian Heinisch fight. Excuse me, Robert Whittaker. Jesus Christ. He lost to Robert Whittaker. Kelvin Gastelum dropping fights. Lost to Robert Whittaker and Jared Cannonier his last two. Now, those are at the top of the division. This is not Robert Whittaker, Right. But, with the cancellations, and let's go over those two. We had Imavov was canceled. Dricus Duplessis was canceled. The Imavov reschedule was canceled. That's not what you want to see. It's not what you want to see, especially when you're going to be betting on somebody. The health problems of Kelvin are up to question. With that being said, Kelvin is, another person who I would prefer to pick based out of them being, acquaintances with me. But I have to tell you guys what I actually think. What I actually think is probably Chris Curtis grinds out a fucking war.
Wow, Mike Finch picking Chris Curtis. All right, let's talk about one thing, though. Wouldn't Kelvin Gastelum at Henry Cejudo's gym be an improvement? Come on, bro. Cejudo's got a crazy mind. I'm thinking we could see a better KG. I think this could be the best version of him, and it's like y'all must have forgot type of performance. Kelvin Gastelum brings it back. That's what I'm thinking potentially, dude. Now, granted, I understand the Chris Curtis pick. I was torn when I was doing the notes on doing a pick, but ultimately I ended up on Gastelum.
It could be that 100%, but because he had 3 fights fall through, hasn't fought since 2021. It's 2023 now. So he lost that entire year due to injuries and pullouts. That's not the recipe that at least makes me want to bet on a Kelvin Gastelum, right? And another thing is when a guy has that adversity and he's coming off of 2 losses like this, you would prefer to see him sort of get a bounce back fight. Chris Curtis ain't that, AJ. Chris Curtis is coming in there to fucking win. Chris Curtis has not had his time in the limelight like Kelvin had. Kelvin had that super fight with Israel Adesanya where they really both leveled up in their careers. Chris Curtis is still looking for those big main event championship marquee fights. I think it might still be ahead of him. Chris Curtis seems to be in something of a prime right now. I don't know that about a Kelvin Gastelum yet. So yes, it could be that way 100%, but am I going to bet on that? If you're putting a gun to my head and telling me I got to place a bet here, it would have to be on Chris Curtis.
I'm going against you strongly, Mike Finch. I don't know. I'm feeling better and better about Gastelum. I'm excited to go toe-to-toe on this matchup. Let me read you the lines, Mike Finch. Right now, Chris Curtis, your guy, plus 110. My dude, KG, minus 120.
There's my dog.
I like that minus 120. Okay, close, though. Lines are close. Over 2.5, minus 210. Gastelum to win. Could he get a knockout, though? Because crazy enough, knockout is plus 550 if he found that Chris Curtis chin. And you like Curtis by a decision. So, honestly, either side that you're on, it's going to be a fucking action-packed fight. It definitely is super live to go all 3 with both guys. Great durability. And I do feel like money line, either side, will be the best. I'm a Kelvin Gastelum picker. Mike Finch on Chris Curtis. We're throwing down, really, with the featured prelim of the night. And that brings us to our main card. First fight on the main card. We got the 18-year-old prospect, Raul Rosas Jr. versus Christian Rodriguez. People watching, make sure you smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Write it down in your calendars, in your phones. It's Moneyline Monday, every single Monday, breaking down the UFC cards. When there's an off week, we usually bring you a banger interview podcast style. So you don't want to miss an episode. Keep it locked in. Turn the post notifications on. Raul Rosas Jr. is my pick in this fight, Mike Finch, but he's 18 years old. and he's fighting a legit kid in Christian Rodriguez. But I feel as though there's this sprinkle of specialness with Raul Rosas' game, dude. I'm watching him move. I'm like, bro, I don't know. I feel this something. Maybe it's an overshoot. Maybe I'm falling into the hype train. Christian Rodriguez is good, but he's not Raul Rosas good, in my opinion. I'm going with Rosas, man. Mike, are you thinking C-Rod? I know you've talked highly of him in the past. I remember he's training out of Rufus Sport with some savages there. He's a good fighter. I mean, good record too. It's not like he's a guy taking L's out here very often, just one L.
100%. Yeah, Christian Rodriguez is great. You guys could go on UFC Fight Pass, type in Christian Rodriguez versus Kevin Mendoza. You'll hear yours truly calling the fight with Matt Locascio. Shout out to Matt Locascio. Miss doing commentary with you on UFC Fight Pass, brother. I think that the grappling of Rosas Jr. will come through. If you look at what Pierce did to Christian Rodriguez, Christian, ended up on bottom too many times, and he could stuff some shots too. Pierce would shoot, he get stuffed, and then all of a sudden you get the takedown. And he was able to grind out a decision. That is the one loss Christian Rodriguez has. And this is a very similar style matchup, but I would even say maybe Rosas Jr. is even a little better with the grappling, even a little stronger with the top game, a little more suffocating with it and putting it together with jiu-jitsu nicely. So I think it's a good matchup for a Rosas Jr. grappling performance, grapple fest. With that being said, Rodriguez does have tools on the feet. He hits everybody with right hands. He kicks everybody really well, but he's not that one-shot kill type of guy, at least not yet in his 25-year-old body. And it's funny to say that against the 18-year-old kid, but I really do think Rosas Jr. is physically stronger. I think he's going to be able to bully him a little bit on the ground. I think that's why he'll grind this thing out. Rosas Jr. should look to finish this fight. Christian Rodriguez has got some jiu-jitsu, though, so it's either Rosas Jr. submission or decision. Rosas Jr. generally finishes fights. I believe Contender Series is the only time he didn't. So, tough one to call as far as the finish those. Rosas Jr. money line. I'll go decision.
Rosas Jr. money line odds are -220. Rodriguez +185. I'm going to go the submission side, bro. I think he's got a real chance for sub. It's +165. Not the greatest tag, but a very live one at that. Under 2.5 rounds is -110 if you think it's going that under. Not my favorite over-under. I think Moneyline Rosas is better, but, we have to throw a little bit of a yellow flag up. He is 18 years of age. That's very young in mixed martial arts. That's very young in the UFC. That's very fucking young on the first fight of a pay-per-view main card. But beating Christian Rodriguez, in my opinion, is likely here. I'm feeling him getting it done, bro. I'm feeling good about it. Not great, but good enough about it.
Patrick Wilkins just speaking some truth if you want to bring that shit up.
Where's
that was pretty good. That's pretty funny.
How far up we? Oh, yeah, I see it.
Right there. Hey, y'all, 147 people watching. Don't be a limp penis. Hit that like button. These guys put in work into this to make y'all money. Cash. Look, he's speaking the truth. Hit that like button. Drop a W in the chat. And we mean not the live chat, like the actual chat when the video posts.
The comments. Yeah. I always say W in the chat, but I mean comments. Yeah.
Comments, yeah. Right?
The W in the chat sounds way fucking better.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But then people actually do drop a W in the chat, thinking, there you go, Saint, Young. See, it's nice. We appreciate that. But in the comments on the video, that helps the algorithm, and we like to get eyeballs on this show. So we appreciate it.
We've been growing, baby. We've been growing, Finch, man. Listen, Rosas Jr. on the come up, money line going straight to the top. We're both gonna see them at the top, bro. We'll be at the same level. You know what I'm saying? Rosas Jr. for the W. I want to keep running up, Mike. This next fight has me clamoring at the bit to talk about. It's Kevin Holland versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. I considered Ponzi as the name, but last time you thought I was like a hardcore Ponzinibbio fan because of it. I said, fuck it, I'm putting the full Ponzinibbio. He's not getting the nickname treatment, and he's fighting Superman, Kevin Holland, the fucking hero. I feel like Kevin Holland's range boxing is nasty. I feel like he's quick as fuck, and even the loss to Wonderboy, we gotta say, he got to Wonderboy better than the vast majority of fighters ever would on the feet. And Santiago Ponzinibbio, in my opinion, is slowed. He's not as fast as he used to be. I think he's going to struggle with the distance striking, and I think Kevin Holland is going to touch him up. Now, Ponzinibbio, always pretty durable. I could see Holland getting a KO, but I could also see it going distance. So I'm going the Holland side, though, for the win in this matchup. I don't know. What do you think about method of victory? It's something that I've been sitting on a little bit more.
I think Kevin Holland could put him out. Look, Ponzinibbio's cardio is so insane. That's why he recovers so fast. You can hit him with a big shot, but because he just trains so hard, he's able to sort of recover every single time. Reminds me of a like prime Fedor Emelianenko. You know, the heavyweights would crack Fedor in the head and he'd do a little chicken dance, and then you try to come get him, and he's just too dangerous. So I could imagine Ponzinibbio making it to the final bell. But when you pick a Kevin Holland fight, if you're going Kevin Holland, he's a finisher, bro. He's a finisher through and through. The speed difference will be probably pretty significant. Kevin Holland with some straight shots trying to put him out. It'd be very impressive to get a KO, and fuck it. I think it'll go down. Kevin Holland knockout.
A big W. Kevin Holland KO. Mike Finch with confidence throwing it out. I like Kevin Holland too. I like the odds, not greatly, but not terrible. They're around minus 240 for Holland, plus 220 for Ponzi. If you like Kevin Holland by knockout, which Mike Finch just picked, it's plus 200. The Holland decision side, plus 180. I'm not crazy prop-sided with this matchup. I much prefer money line attack. I do think Kevin Holland has a great chance to win this weekend, and I'm going to ride the side with you, Mike Finch, with confidence. I like Ponzinibbio, but we got to talk about a red flag. Alex Morono was touching him up and winning the first 2 rounds, and then he lands a big bomb. Now, Morono, short notice replacement. You know, so he's coming in. It's a style adjustment. But Holland here is much better than a Morono. So Kevin Holland, I think, is a great pick in this fight for both.
Man, yeah, and Kevin Holland coming off of the 2 losses. Obviously, he got run over by Khamzat Chimaev, retired, I believe, after that fight.
He just bullshits.
and then the Wonder Boy fight. So, you know, he's trying to bounce back. Should be a good fist fight. In all honesty, this is not in my locks or parlays. This will be a damn good fight. But I jumping on Kevin Holland. I'm a fan, man. I do think that he's got more of a future in the UFC than Ponzi does. So Ponzi's durable and definitely, you know, could start coming through as the fight goes on. You know, if he sort of lets Kevin Holland shoot a shot, kind of avoids getting clipped with the big straight cross and sort of starts pouring it on in round 2 and 3, you could imagine a pathway for him. So I'll personally stay away. However, give me the shoe man himself, Kevin Holland.
Kevin Holland for the win for us both. And that brings us to the featured bout of the night. We got Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez. Striker's delight.
Yeah.
Test for Yanez, though.
Hell yeah.
Big test. Concerning test, Rob Font's got a great jab. Rob Font is a fucking high-level fighter at bantamweight, but I think Adrian Yanez can find big shots on him. I also think he's a little bit faster than Rob Font. And I expect a lot of improvement from Yanez consistently, man. He went out there and had a very hard-fought win over Davy Grant. But Davy Grant's, like, underrated. If Davy Grant fought Rob Font, I would not call Rob Font the lock in that fight. I think that's a fucking competitive matchup. You look at Yanez, before that, Randy Costa jabbed his face off. Yeah, but Randy Costa never came back from that fight. Randy Costa put his all into that fight and literally has not been the same since that fight. Then you look at Yanez's last fight, they give him a squash match against Tony Kelly. Of course, he's going to run him over. So this is a serious competition jump. Davy Grant, at the least, that's a good fight. That's a good test. Davy Grant is an underrated, strong test. But the last fight was a squash match. Randy Costa should have been a bit of a squash match, but ultimately was a hard-fought win. I think Yanez is going to win this fight here. But Rob Font is still dangerous. I just think 2 losses in a row for Rob Font, career trajectories seeming the opposite. And I'm going to say maybe Rob Font is not as quick as he once was. I'm seeing him getting hit a fair amount. And I think Yanez is faster than him. I'm going to go Yanez to win. I'm thinking distance, though. I think the speed edge is a factor. I think it's a hard-fought win for Adrian Yanez over Boston's own Rob Font, man.
Rob Font doesn't get finished either, and Adrian Yanez puts people out. So you could imagine a scenario where Rob Font sort of guts it through and is able to start using that jab of his and sort of showing his toughness in this fight and coming through with that. However, I'm going Yanez knockout, dude. I think Yanez could be the guy who puts him out. I've been very impressed with the hands of Yanez. He's just on fire, man. When you get a kid on fire like this, you know, is Rob Font coming off of 2 losses to Cheeto and whatnot? Is he the one who's going to be stopping a Yanez? I don't see it. I could see him potentially taking in the 3. I mean, that's really the question for me is, do we go to a decision or not? So if you want to money line it, you can. I'd be interested to hear the odds from you, AJ. But yeah, you could give me Yanez. And honestly, he's on fire so much right now. I think he's going to burn Font. Give me KO.
KO win. Mike Finch is on. Yanez is minus 170 as the favorite. Rob Font sitting at plus 160. I think the knockout prop is not the greatest of value for as notoriously tough as Rob Font has been. It's plus 165. That's not a great tag, in my opinion, for Yanez by knockout. I would have liked to have seen it like plus 200. Yanez by a decision, plus 260 for that prop. I don't know. The prop here, I could see a knockout for sure. It's just the juice is not on. If you had that plus 300, we'd be all over it. Yeah, I don't love it, but it's still plus money and it's still very possible. Yanez money line though is not crazy at minus 170. So
I like that. Damn,
right.
I'm gonna have to put that up there for the parlay piece. I didn't know it was that close.
Yeah, it's money, bro. It's a money line. That's a money line, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yanez, let's go. Mike Finch, that's a fucking hell of a fight. I think
dude,
287 stacked.
I'm a fan for sure. And, Pick 'em MMA saying, look at who he's been fighting. And, that sort of Font has underrated striking. Yeah, Rob Font can box for sure. No question about that. You should respect the jab, respect the chin, tucked hands up style of Rob Font. Definitely good. But if he wants to box with Yanez, it's probably a mistake.
I think he's getting touched up. We're on the same
speed.
side.
You actually touched something really important. Yeah. Speed.
Yanez got more, man. When I was watching tape of these guys actually side by side, interestingly enough for this, I was curious. And I'm noticing the speed definitely on Yanez's side. 100%. Clear speed edge, which I think is going to come in handy. So both of us on the Yanez side, and Mike Finch also likes the KO. I'm leaning the decision. Let's jump to the co-main event of the evening. It's Gilbert Burns versus Jorge Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal has not won a fight in 3 years, 4 months, and it was Nate Diaz who he got a victory over for the BMF title by a cut stoppage, okay? And now it's Gilbert Burns who gave Khamzat Chimaev hell. Watching that fight again, bro, Burns was in that fucking fight. It was close as fuck. It was a scrap for sure. Gilbert Burns in the second round had the most dominant round. He had huge moments in that second round. I feel like Gilbert Burns is better than ever right now. I think he's found his stride, and I think this is a final run towards, championship for him. It's now or never. Gilbert Burns, I always feel like is a kid, but Gilbert Burns is not, the youngest of guys at welterweight. Gilbert Burns is 36 years old. Now, on the side of Masvidal, 38. And like I said, hasn't won in some time. Last fight was against Colby. As always, he's tough, Masvidal. And, he was on his back a bit in that fight. The wrestling of Colby was there. But let's talk about who's more dangerous as a fighter, Gilbert Burns or Colby Covington. Gilbert Burns, more finishing ability with jiu-jitsu and more punching power. I also think he's a better kicker. Now, the pace of a Colby Covington, this is a 3-round fight. I think that Gilbert Burns is going to land takedowns. I think he's very live on the feet to land big punches. I'm watching Masvidal strike with Colby Covington, and I'm like, damn, Colby's touching his face with shots, and Colby's not throwing fast strikes at him. It's just decent shots, pop, pop, pop. And I'm like, Burns could really crack him. If Masvidal is concerned about the takedown like he was with Colby in this matchup now with Burns, there's more sting on the end of Burns' punch. I think Burns could get a club and sub potentially here, hurts Masvidal on the feet and then strangles him. I'm going to say that Burns subs Masvidal. It's very difficult to finish Jorge Masvidal. It's been a long time since he was submitted. Granted, Kamaru Usman did flatline him in their matchup, but it's not like Masvidal's chinny by any means. I'm going to go Burns submission, Mike Finch. What are you thinking, bro?
Look, I listened to your last breakdown that you posted yesterday of this fight, and I have the same pick as you, but for a different reason. I have a different take on it. You've mentioned just now that Jorge Masvidal is 38. On that other breakdown, you more so emphasized that you're not sure that Jorge's best years are ahead of him, and you sort of think that maybe he's kind of going to be a shell of his former self. I actually think the opposite. I think because of the work with Johnny Eblen, which I keep up with Johnny Eblen's Instagram page, and we talk, fairly often, and I see them training like every day. Jorge's been taking this very seriously. Even before the fight was announced, he was in the gym consistently. I see him with the headgear on to try to avoid the cauliflower ear, and he's putting in work with Dalton Rasta, and he's putting in work with Johnny Eblen, and he's putting in work with the best fighters in the world. So I think that Jorge Masvidal is going to be very prepared, very ready to go. I think he's taken it very personally that Gilbert Burns was, so adamant that Jorge was ducking him. Jorge does not like to be looked at as a bitch, so I think he had a fire under him for this camp. I do think he's going to come out there and let his strikes go. The problem is long-haired Gilbert Burns. You see he's got the little fro going on?
Little fro, baby.
Long-haired Gilbert Burns is a problem, bro. I think Gilbert's really sort of taken it to a whole other level now. Gilbert Burns is world-class. His jiu-jitsu is levels above anybody else in the division right now. And because he's also a threat on the feet, I do think that a couple of exchanges with Jorge is all he'll need to then set up that takedown. And when Gilbert Burns is in the top position, you guys saw, Masvidal constantly gives up his back. And when he gave up his back to Colby Covington, Colby just wants to put one hook in and throw small shots and sort of win rounds. Gilbert Burns is trying to strangle you. Give me Gilbert Burns via rear naked strangle.
Mike Finch, we're both on the sub side, and I think that's the side that's coming through. As far as the money line odds, Gilbert Burns is a minus 415 favorite. He's a massive favorite. Masvidal plus 385. Burns to win via submission plus 240. I do think this is fairly likely. Wide favorite, Gilbert Burns, but I think he gets it done. I mean, don't just jump on Masvidal because he's a dog. Like, if the line was minus 175, I think 90% of you would be all over. Oh, we want to bet Burns. He's a lock, It's a little bit wide now, but I still think Burns is going to be victorious. Damian Maia had his back also, though, and couldn't choke him out. True. Some years ago, Gilbert Burns is not Damian Maia, though. Damian Maia is a, one-dimensional grappling style. Gilbert Burns is a fucking explosive monster who also is extremely high level with jits. I could see Burns doing good work with punching, man. I'm actually really excited for this fight because Masvidal said something. If I lose, this is it. And when a fighter tells me if he loses, this is probably it, then the retirement is too close to the forefront of your mind for me to want to throw that side. Like, I know people say, oh, well, Masvidal is a big dog. Let's fucking throw some on him. Listen, if he got the KO, that would be fucking epic. But that seems more fairy tale. And maybe Monday we come back and I'm an asshole and it was fucking Masvidal flatlining him with the left hook. But most likely we're going to be talking about Gilbert Burns dominating Masvidal.
I mean, just to push back, I mean, we did just see John Salter do this. John Salter was a 4-1 dog against Aaron Jeffrey, and he knew it was his retirement fight, and he went out there and dominated anyway. So it is possible. But I think for the reasons we've already talked about, Gilbert Burns being much better at jiu-jitsu, Gilbert Burns sort of being on the peak of his prime, Gilbert Burns, is going to show us his best still yet. I still think the best is yet to come for Gilbert. So this will be a highlight for him, man. It's a big deal. And Jorge Masvidal, if anybody got all the respect they deserved, it was certainly Jorge after the Ben Askren fight. I mean, he just shot up to become a star. Good for him. It's cool to see his house on, was it Embedded or who was over there at his estate? Like, good for Jorge, man. A guy who used to, dine and dash at restaurants because he couldn't pay for his food, out here being a multimillionaire now. It's cool to see for sure. I think Jorge's, going to have a lot of trouble with a prime Gilbert Burns.
Yeah. Jorge's got other ventures set up. He's doing Icon. He's got Game Bred Boxing. There's a lot of money rolling in for Jorge Masvidal, and he'll still be a figure in the MMA space and probably would consider doing a boxing match on his own card. That's not out of the question. But as far as his time at the top of 170 pounds in the UFC, in my honest opinion, that's behind. I think Burns beats him. I think Bilal beats him. I think Shavkat beats him. I think Kamaru Usman would beat him again. I think Leon Edwards beats him. I feel as though if Masvidal is to win this fight, it would have to be one of those flatline KO shots. And if he does get one, holy fucking shit. Holy shit. You got to throw Masvidal in a title fight.
Right.
You got to throw him in the title fight.
Just money-wise, they got to throw him in a title fight, So... Yeah, Colby doesn't want to see that happen. Leon does. Leon's crossing his fingers and his toes that happens.
He's praying. Leon's praying for that one.
I mean, wasn't it so obvious the way Leon was like, I only want Jorge Masvidal? It's like, because that's a better stylistic fight for you, Leon.
I'm actually hoping that Leon fucks Colby up. The more I hear Colby talk, the more I'm just like, God damn it, bro. The douchebaggery is getting out of hand here. Holy shit, man. So yeah, I'm hoping Leon high kicks Colby too, to be honest. We've been giving a lot of Leon hate, but the more I sit on it, the more the weeks go by. I hope that fucking Colby's flat out at the end of that one, and Leon starts getting the fucking due respect from me too, because I've been a fucking guy that's given too much hate towards Leon, bro.
Yeah, well, we've both been accused of that, right? So we'll see if it's true or not by the time he fights the rest of the division. The next fight we're going to talk about, I've been accused of being a hater as well.
Oh, shit. Well, let's find out what side you're on. It's the main event. It's Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya. This is the MMA rematch, but the fourth time in combat sports that they cross. Make sure you guys smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn the post notifications on. MMA Experts channel. I'm posting every day of the week. Every Monday, Mike Finch and I showing the love, bringing the heat, and breaking down the UFC fight cards. And also subscribe to Mike. I got his link for his channel in the description. High-level interviews on the horizon. Mike, let's talk about this fight. Alex Pereira is Adesanya's nightmare. This is the boogeyman. This is the guy that's got his number. I feel as though stylistic matchups are everything. And Alex Pereira, 3 wins over Israel Adesanya. How the fuck could I pick Adesanya this time? Well, I'm going back and I'm rewatching. And I'm looking at Izzy and I'm like, wow, he looks great. He's slick. He's touching Pereira, hits him with big right hands. But there's always that concern as Pereira just keeps coming. Adesanya's got to run from him. Pereira can sit and fight. If they were forced into the center of the cage and go to war, Pereira flatlines him. The power is, in my opinion, tremendous with Pereira. Adesanya hits Pereira. Granted, he landed a great was it a right and then a left hook? Great combination that hurt Pereira at the end of that first round. But outside of those shots, when Izzy hits Pereira, it's like just a little mosquito tap. But when Pereira's punching Izzy, it's like Izzy's fucking moving. He's hurt. He feels the fight. The fucking leg kick is checked by Pereira. And goddamn, bro, Izzy's leg is not the same after it, you know?
Yeah.
So in my opinion is, can Adesanya survive 5 rounds just outpointing this guy? He's yet to do it. He's lost every fight against him. In the last 2, he's been finished. I got to go with what's happening. I mean, you know, if you fight a guy 10 times, maybe he takes 1. Could this be Adesanya's 1? Probably not. And I don't think it is. I think that Pereira is the boogeyman for Izzy. And I only feel as though Pereira is getting better. People will say, oh, Adesanya should just chain wrestle. Mike Finch, you can't fucking become a chain wrestler if that's not the base of your game for years. You can't just say, hey, I'm a kickboxer. Let me be a chain wrestler now because this guy's takedown defense is iffy. You better be a ground and pound specialist and get him out of there early because chain wrestling, you're not going to have the stamina for. Pereira, knockout, round 4, round 5, round 3. At some point, Pereira's putting the lights out for Izzy. I'm riding with him again, Mike Finch.
Israel Adesanya was trying to wrestle him in that last fight, AJ. He did take him down in the 3rd round. He was on top. He was grinding on him. He was getting him tired. If you remember, the commentary was all talking about how tired Pereira looked, you know, and this is the first time. Now Israel's championship experience is going to come in these final 2 rounds because here he is. Poatan is tired. And they were talking about his weight cut. They were saying he only had 5 minutes left to finish the weight cut. Otherwise, he would have missed weight and it wouldn't have been a title fight, right? So I definitely, see multiple narratives happening here that are clashing. It's like, yeah, Izzy can get tired wrestling, but it was also very tiring for Pereira to be on bottom. So AJ, I do believe he will try to take Pereira down again. Why not? And shout out to Patrick Wilkins dropping the $5 don't know. We appreciate it. Pereira draws that bow back. Battle cry. Boom. Adesanya loses mentally. Out of all the noise in that stadium, that's all we will hear. What, the battle cry?
That's dope.
Damn,
that's dope.
I like the arrow thing. It's dope.
Yeah, it's my favorite. Shout out Patrick Wilkins for the love, bro.
Thank you.
I think that's the fucking the battle cry of death.
And when I look at this matchup, my initial thought is Pereira is not one of the best fighters in the world because he can't wrestle and grapple yet. Like, I think of like a couple different people beating him, but I have to stop doing that. And I have to, if I'm going to learn any lesson from John Jones Gone, if I'm going to learn any lesson from Leon Edwards Usman, it's to stop looking at how they match up with other fighters in the division and just solely focus in on the two men that are stepping into that cage. And in between Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira has knocked him out in kickboxing. He's knocked him out in mixed martial arts. I have to side with Alex Pereira due to the matchup. Do I think that Johnny Eblen is sitting there in Florida like, what the fuck? I could whoop this guy's ass. Yes, I do. I do believe that. So don't count me out as an Alex Pereira hater yet. I'm still on the hate train for show. For show, I'm still on the motherfucking hate train, man. I think that, even Chael Sonnen sitting there in retirement's got to be like, could I beat this guy? But as far as the matchup with Israel Adesanya, Poatan stalks him. Israel Adesanya has a problem when he's fighting a building. When Blachowicz was just walking him down, checking all his stuff, putting pressure on him, Adesanya was sweating. He does not like being out there just sort of having to pick shots and be scared of getting hit. And that has to be it against Poatan, man. He's got to weave under those hooks. He's got to mind his P's and his Q's because Poatan can put him out with any shot. Israel Adesanya did rock his ass at the end of that first round. I've been saying it for a while. It does look like he's a sucker for an overhand right. I keep seeing Poatan sort of leave his face up there with the lead hand extended. In MMA, that overhand right just seems to work more than other combat sports, and I do think that's a factor. It's also a factor that, they took each other down, so it's like, could Adesanya get the grappling going? It's also a factor that Poatan was gassing a little bit, but dude, he knocked him out in the 5th round. So was Joe Rogan and DC really right how gassed he was? He got the knockout in the 5th. Apparently he wasn't too gassed to knock him out. I got to go with Poatan, man. I'm going to say no bet because these guys, it's a great fight. Just because Poatan's won 3 fights now, 1 in MMA, these have been great back and forth fights. The one he knocked him out in the last kickboxing fight, he was about to lose the decision. And he probably was about to lose that decision to Adesanya, but he's able to do a lot more when he hits people. And so I think the stalking pressure, him deciding where the fight takes place in the cage by pushing Adesanya around and putting punches on him. Give me another Poatan knockout.
Poatan by KO. Let's talk about betting odds for the main event. Right now, Alex Pereira is the dog, plus 120. And then Adesanya sitting at minus 130 as the favorite. The Poatan KO side is sitting at plus 225. So that's a tag on it. And I do think it's real live for a knockout. Looking at the over-unders, over 2.5 could happen here at minus 190, but that Poatan power is real, and it's not like Izzy doesn't hit hard too. And I mean, he could somehow find the shot, but I think Pereira wins. Dog money on him too. It's not crazy dog money, but that's still an underdog. Yeah, I'm picking Poatan to get it done, Mike Finch. I like the Poatan side, brother.
You got to, man. He's just looked so good against Adesanya. Houdini beats Moneyline, best MMA show on the planet. Esteban Llanes, damn right, Houdini. Damn right, Houdini. Thank you for tuning in. We always appreciate it. Houdini, one of the GOATs around this town. Dude, it's going to be a fun fight. I mean, main event-wise, like if you were going to a live fight, how are you not going to have fun watching Adesanya and Pereira throw down? It's a good fight.
It's a dope fight. I'm really excited to see what happens between these two, but I think Izzy's unfortunately going to take a fat L again. Pereira's just got his number, dude. And I feel like it's like Israel Adesanya has to win a decision, but I just question if Pereira doesn't find the chin. Pereira's a fucking monster. And I don't know. I believe he's getting better in the grappling. I know the ground skills were not his forte, but he must be fucking working on them a ton because he's got to be thinking, okay, Izzy tried to wrestle last time. I'm going to be better at it this time. I'm looking at like him working with Chuck Liddell and Glover doing work. He's got Glover Teixeira training him with the grappling. Glover's nasty on the floor. And for this matchup here, I expect maybe even more resistance in grappling for Alex Pereira. So we're going to find out, man. We're going to find out. This is going to be a dog fight.
100%. I saw the video. You saw him training with Chuck Liddell, getting the head positioning right. You know, when somebody's in the clinch with you, that's what Cain Velasquez used to do, is he'd put his head in your temple, so he's underneath you, and that doesn't allow the person to change levels so they can get access to your body. So a couple smart things he was working on in the clinch there. I do think, yeah, Poatan would be a little improved, but you could say the same thing about Adesanya, dude. Maybe Adesanya getting that one takedown. Remember, he body locked him and turned him when Poatan tried to step around. Kind of it shows you the lack of wrestling ability of Poatan, the way he stepped around the leg there. Daniel Cormier called that on the broadcast. He was like, no way he was going to get that takedown. So you don't want to make a stupid mistake like that against Izzy. So yeah, I can imagine them both being one level up with the grappling. Does that mean they cancel each other out again? Probably. I mean, you know, it just it's strange to me to see such a specialist at the top of the game right now, but that's what we got. We got the best kickboxer in the world who probably couldn't win a local Naga grappling tournament as the middleweight champ.
Don't doubt him on that much. He's done grappling tournaments before. Yeah. Alex Pereira will win a local show.
Really?
White belt, blue belt, maybe not brown. I'm not saying brown. But if he goes in like, you know, intermediate, I think he's competitive. Yeah. But I'm not saying fucking going
the
against
UFC champion in the intermediate division. How crazy, right?
Hey,
I mean, come on.
That's the difference though, is I think with grappling to MMA transition, I think wrestling is a better base than jiu-jitsu. I think a guy that has awesome leg locks and is super nasty and slick on the mat, a lot of times is going to get ground and pounded and then, you know, forced to strike with a guy that knows how to wrestle. Like I'd say, I think wrestling over jiu-jitsu, in my opinion, as far as like with some jiu-jitsu, not like I'm talking about zero. You know what I'm saying though?
It has to be a mix, because pure wrestling versus pure jiu-jitsu wins every time.
What about in like a MMA fight, right? But the jiu-jitsu guy can box. He stops the takedown and he's just cracking him. I think the jiu-jitsu guy can get knocked out.
When we see MMA fights, it's important to remember that you're looking at a mixture. You're looking at a wrestler who's been training submissions for many months, who's learned how to get out of a guillotine. He knows what a rear naked choke is, so he knows to defend his neck, you know? So you're looking at wrestlers who train jiu-jitsu. That's the best. That's the best for MMA. Is the problem with jiu-jitsu is they'll pin themselves. Craig Jones talks about this in his instructional, Just Stand Up. Free plug for Craig Jones. I've been watching that instructional. It's pretty funny, pretty good. And what he's talking about is jiu-jitsu players play guard, where they pin their hips and their shoulders on the ground. They're pinning themselves. Why would they do that? A wrestler's instincts are a lot different than that. It's to scramble back up to the feet, fight well out of the turtle position, sort of fight the hands nicely. You know, certain things that wrestlers do even on bottom, right? And then on top, it's very obvious what wrestlers do. They're able to maintain position. So there's a lot of instincts and sort of the grind of wrestling that actually transitions really well into MMA. But AJ, it should be said, because many people miss this, a pure wrestler, okay? Bo Nickel, fucking who do you want? Any world-class wrestler, if they train zero jiu-jitsu, you know, don't even, I mean, a blue belt, just a random blue belt will strangle them, you know?
Same weight though, same weight.
Same weight. Somebody who's wrestled for 20 years will submit to somebody who's trained for 6 months in jiu-jitsu in a real fight. But as soon as you teach that wrestler some jiu-jitsu, just fundamentals, blue belt level jiu-jitsu, everything changes. So it's very important to understand we normally are never actually talking about pure wrestling versus jiu-jitsu in MMA. It's always wrestlers who are training submissions. That's the best.
Wrestling with, I'm going to say, one stripe on the belt is better. Like high level, right? You got D1 wrestler, give him one stripe on jiu-jitsu, he's fucking up blue belts for sure. I've seen it myself, bro. This guy comes in, he wrestled D1. He's fucking, he might not be getting submissions, but he's on top. He's not getting tapped either.
There's a video on YouTube of me submitting a D1 wrestler at Arnold Sports Festival. So I've run this experiment, and the guy was.
You were a wrestler first, though.
Wait, what's that?
But you were a wrestler first.
Yeah, I just pulled guard though.
You're on the wrestler side though. I'm talking about a guy that did not wrestle. I'm picking the wrestling background. That's my thought process with some jiu-jitsu though, of course.
Understood. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I don't hate that take as much, but the average like you know more casual fan are like, oh yeah, wrestling over jiu-jitsu. It's like not really. It's wrestling and jiu-jitsu. That's the sweet spot.
Yeah, agreed, man. Let's get into this lock section. It's time to find out what we're thinking as far as the locks. And I'm really curious what you're thinking, Mike Finch. So let's jump to it. lock of the night. We're talking UFC 287. Mike Finch, the floor is yours. Who is your lock this week? We got to bring some vengeance with the locks. I know you're coming off a Dubsky with Vergara. Last time for the lock for me, Chidi and Jakawani, worst lock of all time. I shot myself in the foot with that one.
That's right. I had the main event. I got my lock. I got my parlay. Let's try to do it again, folks. All right, I'm checking odds because I want to give you guys some sweet odds here. Karl Williams, is it close over Chase Sherman?
He's minus 390-ish.
It's not that sexy. That's not. I'll save that for the parlay then. Give me Ignacio Bahamondes. It's got to be closer odds.
Ignacio Bahamondes is minus 300.
Damn, these are not very sexy. And then my man. Okay, I'm gonna try one more.
The trifecta. He's got the trifecta.
I'm like running you through odds right now. Yanez and Font's close. Yes.
Yanez and Font is Yanez right now sitting at minus around 175, minus
175. Way better, way better. I want to give you guys some decent odds. So let's go. Just now you heard some of my parlay. Let's go Yanez. And just money line him because those odds are not very wide. I do think his hands are much faster than Rob Font. He's sort of the young star bursting onto the scene right now. And, it's a tough matchup for Rob Font. Rob Font's game, it could go decision. Money line, Yanez, lock of the night.
My lock is going to be Jaqueline Amorim to win in her UFC debut. I think that she's going to beat Sam Page. So, yeah, I like her. I think money line would be the best way to go. She's sitting around that minus 235 range is the favorite. I'm very confident that she wins this fight. I like her style. I think she could grab a sub. Amorim by submission line is sitting at plus 120. Not great value. I like money line better for this one right here. And I really am confident that Amorim's getting her hand raised. I've been confident on her since fucking, 2 weeks ago, man. Like, I've been feeling good about her for a while, doing the research on her. You see, this is a young savage on the come up. I'm locking her up. I think she's going to cash. So let's go Amorim.
But Budrich is so disappointed because me and Budrich had a couple other fights. What were they, Budrich? What did me and you agree on? We had a couple against AJ, right? I think we're both on Pyfer over GM3. And I think there was another one AJ and I disagreed on that he had me. Sorry to disappoint you, Budrich. Sorry about that. I got to tell you the truth. And I think that Yanez has got some speed on him, my friend. Yeah, we're going.
Yanez. Mike Finch, you know what time it is. It's parlay time.
All the competition that try to compete, stand back, watch the bomb drop.
Parlay time. Open up your wallets and get ready to make some cash.
Mike Finch, let me know. What are you thinking? Where's the parlay? What's the parlay this week? What are we on?
Jorge Masvidal is on the card, so I'm going to give you the 3-piece and the soda. All right? You already got your soda. It's Yanez money line. So here's your 3-piece parlay, folks. We're going to go with Karl Williams. Karl Williams is going to out-grapple our guy Chase Sherman. Chase Sherman, pretty good without the gloves on. So good, in fact, that he was the BKFC heavyweight champion. But in a mixed martial arts fight, my man is not too good off of his back. So we got to go with Karl Williams getting the dubski, as AJ calls it, via decision. Money line it. Then we've got, of course, Ignacio Bahamondes, a phenomenal striker at range, going to tear the game up. I think Ignacio Bahamondes is very hard to approach, especially when you want to kickbox with him. My God, he is very talented, on the up and up. Catch him before the odds get too wide and crazy with him. Ignacio Bahamondes, money line. And then coming in to finish the 3-piece against Jorge Masvidal. How dare I pick Gilbert Burns? Gilbert Burns via submission, but if you just moneyline Burns, moneyline Bahamondes, and moneyline Williams, and I think you're going to walk out with some cash.
Let's go, Mike Finch. All right, so we got Burns, Williams, and I missed the other one. I'm sorry. Ignacio, right?
That's the 3-piece.
Let's go, champ. All right, so it's minus 105 for this one right here. Minus 105. Little something.
little something, and a three fight is only minus 105. How dare they?
Piece off the dollar menu, Mike Finch.
Fuck. All right. No. Well, I'll still sit on it. I like it.
Respect.
I tend to think that the best bets on this card are these like 300 and 400 favorites, unfortunately, but the bookies they see what we're seeing.
Let's go. All right. So I'm going to throw you mine, Mike Finch. So I'm going to put Amorim, who's the lock, on this parlay. I'm going to throw Jaqueline Nuerdanbieke on the slate. I'm going to go over 2.5 rounds with Calvillo and Godinez, right? And then I'm also going to throw, I have it written down here, over 2.5 in the Gastelum fight versus Curtis, which is an interesting one. This is intense, dude. I'm bringing the heat with this one. I'm not trying to fuck around. All right. And then we're going to throw Kevin Holland on the lineup. I think Holland can get it done. And then we're also going to throw Gilbert Burns at the top of the slate, who should beat Masvidal at this point. The line for that, plus 615. I do have a parlay with it. I threw $35 on it. Actually, no, excuse me, $33.50, because I said, all right, I want to be able to make at least 201. So I got 201.91. I win, and $33.50 down on it. That is my fucking parlay that I actually played myself, that I said, you know what? I want to go for something with a good amount. I want to win big on a parlay. I'm going to risk it. I'll throw $33.50 for that. I wanted to go harder at it, but I said, you know what? 200 for that. I'd be grateful. So.
All right. I like it, AJ. Very nice.
Let's go. My man, Mike, we fucking brought the heat with UFC 287. I think always, bro. Every week. I think it's a banger card. I'm pretty fucking stoked, and I'm ready to win some cash, bro. I'm ready to fucking come up big on the bets, bro. Let's go. I'm feeling good, man. I'm riding the high of that UFC San Antonio card, so I want to keep that momentum going.
Oh, dude, I think they're going to put on in Miami. I think it'll be fun fights. A lot of these just make for exciting matchups. So enjoy yourselves, guys. I'll try to jump into the live as I usually do to roast some of you guys or go back and forth a little bit. Fun having you guys in the chat. Thank you. AJ, good to see you. We're going to keep the show going even on off weeks. I hope you guys enjoyed that interview with a bad mofo and bad middleweight himself, Mr. Dalton Rasta, last week. If you guys haven't checked out that interview, we still made content last Monday. And bet responsibly, guys. Enjoy this shit, man. I'm excited for it. And I'm gonna keep grinding out content here, keep interviewing people. So I'm gonna keep my channel popping. As AJ said, links in the description. AJ, I'll see you throughout the week, man. I'll drop in on Saturday.
I'll be around, my man. I'll be here every single day. So if you're not subscribed, make sure to content dropping tomorrow, doing a live stream. Wednesday, this week's Best MMA Bets. Thursday, the late night live breakdown. We'll throw the polls up. We'll see what the people are thinking. Friday, I got the weigh-in show. And then Saturday, Fight Companion. As always, you don't want to miss anything. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Mike Finch, my guy, for being here. I really hope you guys enjoyed another great show. And we will see you all next week. Peace, guys.